Good evening and welcome to another scene for Living World of Darkness, Mage across the Magening. This scene starts outside the Chantry, or outside the Lucky Dragon restaurant. Nausicaa Alexios has spent 2 days, basically. First she tried to get her bank account back, and that didn't work. Then she tried to email her old boss, and she found out she's under investigation by the FCC. Then she tried to get her stuff back from her house and was refused entry to the Chantry by Tasha. So she ended up trying to find bugs and stuff on her computer and didn't know what she was looking for. So basically ditched all her worldly possessions in a back alley somewhere. She spent 2 nights sleeping rough, spent some money on internet cafes to try and keep doing this, and has just epically failed, doesn't know what she's doing. And the scene will start with her hood up in the rain, walking along the street and entering the restaurant with basically, nothing to her name. She's very tired. And she will walk past and walk through the back door into the Chantry common area, looking very dejected.
And, as usual, in the common area, there is, in the chair that she kind of claimed, there is her stuff lying around. Lots of stuff actually still in plastic bags. There's a blanket, there's a pillow. It's all kind of centered around this chair. And in this chair there's Ava curled up, reading what appears to be a dictionary. She has a new set of glasses perked on her nose, and is kind of very focused on this book. But as she hears some noise, she um, she kind of jolts and looks up. Hey.
Nausicaa actually comes down and sits basically next to a radiator, kind of on the floor with her hands around her knees. And she looks up, just kind of nods, and then looks back at her knees. And you can see she's clearly trying to warm herself up. She's soaking wet.
Are you okay? Would you like some tea?
Tea would be nice.
Your clothes are all wet.
It's raining.
She looks outside as if she notices that for the first time, looks out of the window. Right. Oh. Do you have a spare set of clothes? If you want to, you can borrow some of mine.
You can see there's a kind of mental struggle going on in Nausicaa's mind.
Oh, she's completely going to interpret that wrong. It's new. I haven't worn it yet. And
maybe a t-shirt.
Yeah. She starts rummaging around in some of the bags. It's not like there's a huge amount of bags, but there are a couple of plastic bags that obviously come from clothing stores. I have one with I have a sweater actually, if you like. That's warm. It does have cats on it.
Again, there's that kind of a pause, and she'll just kind of shrug, like trying to look like it's not a big deal, but also kind of accepting.
And she'll take out the sweater. Gets takes the labels off and hands it to Nausicaa. Yeah.
She just takes it and doesn't make eye contact and basically goes into like the kind of quickly heads off to the toilet or her room or something and changes, and a minute later comes back and assumes her position next to the radiator wearing a Hello Kitty hoodie and t-shirt, which I'm just guessing.
Yeah, sure, it can be Hello Kitty if you want to. And yeah, as Nausicaa went to change, Ava would go into the kitchen and would make like tea
And what a coincidence.
okay.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna make tea or some shit, and then people enter, like, as Elijah is actually looking over a kettle with well, he got a fucking plant pot near him that he seems to be carrying around.
That's not particularly strange in Ava's book. I mean, after all they've seen, like nothing is really that strange anymore. She does kind of pause. She didn't expect anyone to be in the kitchen for some reason. Oh, hey. Is that hot water?
Yes. Waiting for it to go to acceptable temperature before herbal infusion.
Are you making tea?
Yes, that is what I call herbal infusion. And he actually he actually show, because he got a whole like 7 or 10 different kind of small tea bags. What kind?
Well, hot.
I'm sorry, Saskia, you you spoke so quiet, but I couldn't hear a single word.
Oh, she says, well, hot tea.
And he looks at her. I thought that was obvious from your question regarding if I was boiling water for tea.
Right. Yes, of course. The uh girl just came back and she's like really cold. So I
Yes,
thought
I see. And he is going to still holding his plant. He's just gonna take one of one of the small box of tea and hand it over. And you pour in a and he points towards a Chinese looking tea thingy, which I need to actually find the English word for that shit.
teacup.
No, not the teacup. Kettle.
Pot.
Yeah, teapot.
Yes, and she'll go yeah, pour hot water in the pot and mm,
And he focused back his attention on water, and she can see that he actually have a cooking thermometer in the water, and he's waiting for basically the mercury to arrive at the appropriate temperature.
so I'll take this into the common room then. Yeah.
As he is completely focused on his thermometer.
She doesn't get a reply. She's kind of like has the awkward few seconds where you're waiting for one and realizes that it's not going to come, and you either need to speak up or retreat. And obviously, she will choose the latter, and will leave with the hot water in the pots, and yeah, probably gonna pour like a cup of tea for Nausicaa for herself. And hands it over.
She looks up and yeah, takes it. Shivers, and you can see she kind of like wraps her hands around it, and just kind of like furtively looks up and doesn't really say anything, and begins kind of sipping it back to the radiator.
Ava will look over at her chair, at her blanket. It's like one of those things where you have like brought it to a nice temperature for yourself with your own body heat, and it's like really cozy. And she doesn't really want to give it up, but she's not the one shivering on the floor. So she'll take the blanket and walk back over and kind of wrap it around Nausicaa if she allows her to, of course.
No.
She'll
kind of once she does, she'll be like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
You're shivering. Hypothermia is like a big thing.
I'm not going to die of hypothermia.
Well, it would at least get you pretty sick. You don't want a dripping nose, do you?
Well, then Boris can give me one of his healing things. Apparently he's a wizard.
Apparently, so are we all. She'll just hand the blankets, like she won't actually wrap it around, but she'll just hand it over. Go sit back in the chair.
She'll just put it on the ground next to her.
Eva looks a little disappointed, but well, at least she tried, you know. She picks up her book again, tries to read a bit, but she's a bit curious. So she'll put it down like after even like 5 seconds. It's like, where have you been?
She'll just shrug. Just out in the city.
Oh. Like meeting with people?
No.
Mm.
Like trying to get my fucking life back? Actually, no, sorry, she wouldn't swear. She'd just say, like, trying to get my life back.
I think that's what we're all trying to do. A bit, you know?
And how is that going for you?
Well, how's it going for you?
Bad.
Yeah. I don't even really know how to begin. At least you tried.
And Elijah will arrive in the room with the hot water and his plant still. As he searched for the teapot. Where do I pour?
Cups?
And he's like, ah. And he pours the cup and sprinkle a little bit of additional leaves in it. Right. Primer should be sufficient. Can add honey also, but depends on personal taste. And seeing as he's greeting silence, he will just sit with his with his plant and pour himself a cup of tea.
Why do you have the plant?
First, to get exercise to keep my head focused, but also Boris detector. I have witnessed that Boris have as he makes a pause, field of growth enhancement. So whenever cellular plant life is near him, they tend to grow. So the best way to find Boris is actually to have a plant near you and watch for out of the ordinary growth. I am testing the theory and see how far his reach can go.
How do you know it if he's not there?
If he's not there, I have witnessed plant go back to their natural state. It's currently in its natural state. Therefore, Boris is not near.
Right.
And he turns to Nausicaa. Oh, didn't made acquaintance. It is a queen, but at least we know each other, a face. And he just looks back into his tea.
I'm Nausicaa Alexios. But at university, people like to call me Theo.
Ah. So, are you from Greece?
No. Philadelphia.
And he nods. Hey, makes sense.
What did Boris call those people who had us? The Technoist Union, or
I believe the term. Sorry.
Politic? No, go ahead.
They referred to them as Technocratic Union.
what did they do to you?
Just to be sure, you asked how did they get you?
What did they do to you?
Oh. Okay. He starts to think of a moment as he seems to absentmindedly caress the leaves of a plant, as if he seems to focus on it more than the people around him. Standard procedure in what I guess is mental conditioning, strapping on chair, forcing eyesight to witness series of image, subliminal messages, addition of pain, association of image, trying to change mindset, other personality disorders, make into something new. Probably something akin to what others might have, unless they have changed their modus operandi depending on person to person.
And what do you think of these people who have us now?
For whatever reason they have chosen, they chose to do this. We'll need to theorize as to what reason drove them. However, I strongly believe that science should help humanity and not be served as a way to torture people. Even if, unfortunately, war is probably one of the fastest way to improve science field. I cannot say I approve of such use.
And what did you both do before they took you?
He will turn to Ava because, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious with the way he fell with the plant and all. He's not very at ease in social interactions. So it's like, hey, she asked for two people's opinion. You go first, kind of behavior.
I'm just a student. I study English.
I had just been finishing my master in genetic engineering. I was starting to work on PhD. At Cornell University.
What about you?
I worked for a hedge fund called Silverman and Sterling. Although apparently now I am being investigated by the FCC for bad trading practices, so my employment has been suspended.
Hedge fund?
Yeah. I work as a data analyst and create trading models.
For? I'm sorry, I don't understand hedge funds.
So you actually see Nausicaa perk up a little bit talking about this. So I have a degree in MIT in physics. My specialty was weather systems and complex chaotic systems, and how initial inertias can lead to hugely varying degrees. You might have heard about the butterfly's wings causing a tornado.
Wasn't that in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, it was. He was a chaotician also.
That seems at least to get Elijah attention.
So basically, I study data, and then I model programs and run simulations to predict how the market and various stocks will perform. It's very complex, and to glean even a little bit of advantage in information takes a lot of information, a lot of time. I have been working on several formulas that I would hope would impress the partners. However, now I have no access to it because the partners have said I'm not allowed access to my work computer. I had some on my home computer, but Teresa would not allow me to bring that into the Chantry. She believes, correctly, that the technocracy had bugged it.
I'm sure, for what it's worth, that they can help you set things back up. I got my green card back. And my bank account. I just haven't been able to mail to Colombia. I was supposed to start there in August as an exchange student.
Do you think you will be able to now?
I don't know.
I think if they were watching me, they could be watching you.
I don't know. That's why I haven't mailed yet. I don't know who got me on that plane. You know? I just don't know. It could be that they found me, like Tasha said, they might have found me on the plane, but for all I know, they could have found me in university where I come from and have put me on that plane. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to Colombia. I mean, I want to, but you know. No, she shrugs.
I don't see how we're going to hold down jobs and employment and education. If they found us once, they could find us again.
I mean, maybe if that magic thing actually works, you can like set up firewalls, magical firewalls. I don't know. I don't know how that shit works. That sounds stupid.
I don't know how it works either.
I kind of got the impression now we have to find out for ourselves. What works for you is something else than what works for me, or something like that.
Masika just shrugs.
I don't know. I don't feel that I've done like anything special. Not even while we were in there.
When you say you can make assessment and predictions towards variable for data, can you do that with any sort of data?
In theory, yes.
And he seems to bite his thumbs as he seems to be thinking.
Although many systems are so complex that it is even theoretically impossible. For example, my thesis was on the weather. There have been no serious advancements in weather prediction since the late 60s. I made some slight tweaking to current weather modeling predictions, but it's not true prediction in any form. Same applies to stocks. Same applies to potentially anything. But the more complex the system, the more difficult. Hence, the butterfly and the tornado analysis, often used incorrectly. The point is not that the butterfly's wing creates a hurricane. The point is that to correctly predict the hurricane, you would have to account for every action that affects it, even one so small as a butterfly flapping its wings.
And he nods. I work on evolution of species, generally genetic mutation and reaction towards different environment through the adaptation of different species, and be it through plants or animals, and the different possible result that may outcome from this. I could actually, if that if that can apply with enough data that I could provide, I would be very interested in seeing some variables.
In theory, if enough data is gathered about environments and initial status, then chaos math could be applied. But the complexity of that sounds extreme, to say the least.
And he nods as he takes a small notebook, and he starts to write on it. Evolution was never a short time phenomenon, so it's okay.
Yeah, Nausicaa seems... Oh, sorry, go on.
No. I was finished. As he just he mumbles to himself as he writes things down.
I think I interrupted myself on the feedback. But yeah, she seems a little more kind of perked up that she's talking about one of the few things that she cares about. But yeah, she's still kind of huddled next to the radiator in the borrowed hoodie. And she'll go back to sipping it.
And in this lull, whereabouts are we?
In like a common area.
Cool. Yeah. Tasha will walk in. She's got a glass of she's actually got a glass of whiskey which she's stolen from James. Am I? Don't we all look cheerful?
Tasha especially, Nausicaa especially will see Tasha and yeah, suddenly there's something incredibly interesting at the bottom of her tea mug.
Came back.
She just nods. You can see she's actually like soaked through, aside from the rather out of place Hello Kitty hoodie that she's wearing, and yeah, is sitting on the floor next to a radiator.
Didn't have you pegged for a Hello Kitty fan. You are super quiet.
Zero recognition.
I mean, maybe not from Nausicaa, but someone else in the room is turning slightly pink.
So, yeah. Well, you're back. Recommend not leaving for a while. Turns out that SEC investigations are harder to get rid of than I thought. Probably going to take another few hours.
Nausicaa looks up. You can get rid of it.
Yeah.
Deflates slightly. It doesn't matter. Can't go back working there anyway.
You think you're the... Well... No, they do know you work there. It's probably a bad plan. Meh,
I haven't bought
job.
my computer back. Most of my possessions are on the other side of the city. In an alleyway.
Sensible. An alleyway, classy. You didn't think to
I
just
wasn't.
take them back to your apartment.
I didn't want to go back to my apartment. I don't want to go back to that clinic.
Sensible. Yeah, it's pretty fucking sensible. Can't argue with that.
How did you get our stuff back? I tried, well, lots of things, and hit a brick wall every time.
Because I'm really fucking good at what I do.
Can you show me?
Sure. How much do you know about trinary computers?
I know they have. Wait, they're not possible, right?
Nope. They're
Yeah,
like
sure.
a theoretical idea.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah, she'll look at you and say, I know they're not possible. I know there's a department working on it at MIT, and they are considered something of an amusement to the rest of the faculty.
Elijah will raise an eyebrow at the mention of this type of computer.
There's one in the basement.
What?
There's one in the basement.
You mean a computer that works on 0, 1s and other?
Yeah.
I would be enthralled to witness such a thing.
The processing speed on those things is orders of magnitude higher than even.
Yeah, you cube, don't square.
And where do you get it? Some government lab?
I built it.
Can we use it to get back at those people that took us?
No, you probably couldn't. I can. But they have them too.
Can we see it?
Okay. Come. You also like fancy computers? Turning to Ava.
I think that depends on what it does. I'm not that familiar in computers and programming and hacking. I prefer writing.
It does have a keyboard. Come downstairs.
That's not. Never mind.
And yeah, she'll lead you downstairs to the basement, where instead of going through the big double doors, one of the big sets of double doors, you go through a smaller side door, where there is a room that is for the most part empty. Sort of a big hall, except in one corner there's a workbench covered in tools with lights hanging over it, and Tasha's hoverboard, or what you can assume is Tasha's hoverboard, opened up with all its different wires exposed, and on the other is a sort of like 8 monitors, and yeah, what looks like a couple of towers and a sphere between them.
There is an audible shudder from
That
Nausicaa.
is also, the whole place is just a tip. Like it's a mess of bits of electronics, sort of half-complete devices, balled up bits of paper, drinks cans, takeaway containers. Pretty sure there's just a bowl of Boris's stew under there. It's just a shit tip. And she's just basically turned this little side corner of the room into a little fortress.
Nausicaa approaches the the computer, clearly in awe.
And yeah, there's just the one battered swivel chair, which Tasha will cut in front of Nausicaa to sit down.
Yeah, she's completely oblivious to that.
And she puts her feet up on the workbench and starts fiddling about with the keyboard. It's, yeah, quite a lot bigger than a normal keyboard.
Yeah, Elijah is definitely interested in a workbench.
Elijah, you know I said it was theoretically impossible to map systems as complex as evolutionary patterns to any form of useful predictability.
And he nods as he also doesn't really know where to put his eye on with all the stuff.
I might have been wrong.
Theories are living to be proven wrong or just. So
What you're going to find out over the rest of your life is you didn't realize how wrong you were about everything. And then you'll discover new and maybe more interesting ways of being wrong.
Everything I know was shadows on Plato's wall.
Something like that. Except the wall is made of, like, Play-Doh.
interesting imagery.
The reason why you're just going to find out everything's wrong is realistically, reality is a fairly subjective thing. Kind of. Or them out there set the rules. We make different rules and live by different ones. Can't map evolution. Probably give a few other things a go.
With enough data, you can potentially predict anything.
Yeah.
And a guy who's bringing 5 cups empty.
We're downstairs in the basement.
God damn it!
We already had tea.
I have no reason to go there.
You can hear voices down there.
Okay, and you guys will like hear a knock. Hey, is everything all right? I heard voices for the first time from the downstairs. Tasha?
They wanted to be computer nerds. Showing them my rig.
What did she say?
Said she's showing the computer nerds her rig.
Oh.
This is probably the most, like, affable and pleasant that she has just been the whole time you've met her.
Obviously, it's a trap.
Oh. Okay. So I think everything is all right.
We don't exactly keep a tiger down here to savage you all.
Yeah, I think that's in the library.
Don't think it's a tiger.
Okay, mind if I come in?
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
Thank you.
Which turns out isn't a metaphor down here.
He slowly gets in.
And let's say what the others have seen is there's a big room, big sort of empty hall, except in one corner there's just a big heap of mess of just various bits of junk, half-finished projects, wires, metal, tools, takeaway boxes that Tash has just cast about. One is a computer or a sort of computer desk with sort of 2 towers and a sphere between them and 8 monitors. And the other is a workbench with her hoverboard currently in sort of open up in a couple of bits and a welder next to it.
Caleb will actually be surprised by Nausicaa's presence here.
Yeah, she's wearing her trousers and like shoes look absolutely soaked through. She looks very, very tired. and she has she's wearing a Hello Kitty hoodie that is slightly too big for her and definitely looks like she didn't choose. And I've no idea about her arcane effects.
Yeah, me too.
You can see instantly, now you're closer on one of the screens, or maybe a couple of the screens. Those looking at screens will be able to see just strings of code effectively executing. Blue background. In fact, no, purple background. White text. And just streams going. But they seem to, instead of just being on the surface, there's different bits of code replicated through almost a 3D effect into the screen.
Duncan.
Yes.
Is it? I don't know if it's appropriate, so feel free to just say no. But would I be able to activate a magical effect of data level 1 to observe this and make some sense of it? You can just say no. Absolutely.
Not this one, no.
Okay.
Largely because this is throwing junk code into a government database.
I mean, could she see that?
If she's, I mean, she'll have probably practiced hacking before. She'll be able to vaguely recognize the process.
No, it's okay. I'm looking for an excuse for her to kickstart
Yeah,
some kind of magical awakening.
This bit is just streaming through. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Hacking effect, effectively. Good opportunity, but yeah, not quite right.
That's fine. Yeah, Nausicaa's just staring at the stuff. She just seems absolutely into what's going on here.
Duncan, you didn't answer. Does Nausicaa remember Caleb because of Arcane?
Yeah. Why the hell not? It's easier that way.
Okay. Caleb kind of looks at Nausicaa and says, "Oh, I didn't see you for a couple days. Are you all right?" Hello, everyone.
She'll kind of look around and just shrug. No. But thank you for asking.
No problem.
Hello. As he doesn't even look around. He's just looking over the workbench and all the shit on the other board.
Hello, Ava. Pleasure to see you again.
Hey.
What?
Ava's kind of awkwardly standing in the middle of the room. She doesn't really know where to look. Obvious that she doesn't understand the thing that's going on here, but it all seems mighty interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your way of doing magic.
Yeah. Instantly, sorry, what Elijah can see looking to the hoverboard is just some ridiculously complicated inner workings, unsurprisingly. And yeah, it looks very much like the sort of thing you'd expect from some sci-fi film, where there's these big, sort of clean white, sort of almost magnet or anti-gravitic nodes, which you can probably assume what they're for, even if they make no sense. Yeah.
How does anti-gravity field works?
How does it work? I mean, it's relatively simple once you start isolating the individual particles. Controlling the flow of the antiparticles.
Does miniaturizing makes it easier, or would extended of the field would makes it highly unstable, and you have to maintain a smaller version to
Yeah.
make all this work?
Yeah, small is definitely beautiful in this. I have frankly no idea what would happen if I tried to scale this thing up.
From what I understand, the theory is sound, but being able to contain the kind of power that you would need to do this in a controllable manner. Again, it's supposed to be impossible, right?
And she whistles, and her arrow, the one that destroyed the hit mark, pops up next to her shoulder. As is this.
Yep, Ava jumps. And takes a few steps backwards.
I saw it, thought it was cool.
What's that?
Yondu's arrow. You've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
She shakes her head.
Really? Go watch it.
Yes, ma'am. Now?
You can watch it later if you really, really want. But that is just time you're missing out on. It is genuinely really good. Yeah, I saw the arrow, thought it was cool. Made it.
She'll
Instantly-
make notes in the notebook.
Also impossible is the fact that Boris enters a room and all the plants start waving hello to him. I've seen him regrow someone's arm. And
Regrow someone's arm?
yeah,
And
You feel
yeah, Elijah is just with his plant, and he just like.
if you will forgive my... There's a difference, though. What he is doing is clearly impossible, realms of fantasy, and what you're doing is dealing with established science and pushing it beyond anything anybody has.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
something like that.
if you look at it from pushing beyond normal capabilities, regrowing an arm can be. I mean, there are certain animal kinds, and she kind of looks at Elijah because she hopes that he might actually catch on. There's certain animal kinds like lizards and something that can grow back their tails.
While the end effect may be similar, the way he described doing it, he literally said magic potions.
They taste like ass.
Generally, not sure how simple potions would work, but if genetic would be enhanced, technically, in theory, possible to find a way to duplicate lizards' regrowing limbs effect.
Tasha, may I ask a question?
Sure.
He smiles and says, According to the explanations that I have been given, the magic is changes to various of people and how they view the world. Is there a level, an ending to what you can do?
What
Is
do you mean?
there a, for example, let's just give an example, okay? I'm playing a game, let's say Dragon Age. I presume you play Dragon Age.
No, I have taste.
Okay. May I ask what kind of games you play?
No. Well, you can ask, you won't get an answer.
May I ask what kind of...
I know what a video game is.
He kind of looks like he doesn't understand her.
She's basically saying, kind of get to the point.
He nods and then says, there are certain achievements that you can do, namely putting experience points in those games. What are the levels? What is the starting point to the magic? How did you... What is the basic level that you can do? There are different spheres. That's what he told me. So healing someone's arm is probably life, right? Which is Verbena holds that.
They hold the seat, yeah.
So what you can do as a mage who has life sphere or knows how to use the life sphere. As a beginner, can you just regrow someone's arm?
Let me... Okay. Have you ever worked in a workshop? Or have you ever cooked food?
I did, yes.
Which one?
I usually do soup to myself or French fries.
So you can cook, okay? Right. When you were 12, could you prepare a 3-star Michelin restaurant? Chef.
No.
Well, there's your answer.
So what is the starting level of life?
So, it's recognized as different levels of mastery, and once again, these things have been given to us by our wonderful friends of the Harry Potter fan club. And ultimately, they're not perfect. Not perfectly accurate. They're a bit vague, but ultimately, I suppose I can't really think of a better option. And you'll have to wait while Duncan finds the order they're going, because you can never remember. Anyway, there's a whilst Duncan looks, say, series of ranks. Right, there we go. The most basic rookie ass moron is an apprentice. Technically, you're all apprentices.
So what you were able to do when you were an apprentice?
The easiest thing to do is to see things around you. to understand the complexity of the system in which you live.
I think I understand.
It's a simple thing. Once again, we'll go to the cooking example. If you don't know what anything tastes like, you'll be a shit cook.
So you need to perceive to affect.
It's the first step, yeah. When you're a really good cook, you can just cook shit. It still isn't a perfect metaphor, but it's the closest I can do right
Thank
now.
you.
So the easiest thing to do is to see before you can actually affect. Before I could make an anti-gravity, like a anti-graviton matrix, I first had to be able to detect gravitons.
He nods. Thank you again. First to see.
In order to, and she'll gesture at the computer, in order to be able to control vast amounts of data, I firstly had to be able to break it down.
He nods. And he says, thank you for explanation again. I'm gotta go upstairs. I think I owe something to Boris. He looks at Nausicaa, Elijah, and Ayla. It was nice to see you guys again. I'm sorry for asking a bunch of questions again.
I mean, he shakes his head. Question always requires answer in order to further advance.
Questions do not always require answers. It's children who expect their questions to be answered all the time.
When one cannot yet experiment, one must ask questions.
Mummy, why?
See you guys later.
Bye.
Would you rather we didn't ask questions? I assume that we are the apprentices you were talking about.
Yeah. We'll stay non-committal on the questions. Teachers lie to you. There is such a thing as a stupid question. Lessons to the otherwise are so the slow kids don't feel bad.
I would have thought that if I was in a science class at school and somebody had asked their science teacher if it was possible to build a trinary computer with an anti-gravity device in it, that would have been considered a stupid question.
Probably would have been, yeah.
But they would have been wrong.
Yeah. Maybe they'd have had an exceptionally nerdy science teacher who'd have told them, well, maybe in principle, and promptly derailed the rest of the class by talking about what he saw in Star Trek or some dumb shit.
Dumb shit like hoverboards.
Hoverboards are cool. Don't you talk fucking shit about hoverboards.
But you admit that's something you might see on Star Trek.
Okay, that's fair.
If we were apprentices, that means there must be masters. I assume there are people who are going to assist us in our learning.
I'm not a master, but I'm in the same place. so I might as well help. Suppose you might be mildly more useful that way.
I would very much like, if possible, to get my research back on track, including getting access to the stuff that Silverman and Sterling have. They wouldn't know what to do with it anyway.
What is it?
It's my chaos math formulas. Applying theories to stock markets, prediction. Using initial systems in complex situations. To them, it would be very useful for them to be able to predict stocks and companies' movements.
I imagine so. When I'm done with this, I'll see what I can do.
She nods. I also would like, and there's a small pause, to ask for your help that I refused before in getting access to my assets.
Let's see what I can do.
She nods.
Hopefully they've not drained your account by now. But so, see what I can do.
The Seeker just nods.
Anyone else want any favors whilst apparently I'm in a giving mood?
Is there any lab equipment somewhere, or any way to get some?
I mean, you need a fume cupboard or you need a test tube.
And he flips through the pages of his notebook, and there's a whole list of shit. And he nods.
Are there workspaces in this Chantry?
There's the rooms, the bedrooms is in this. There's a couple of other rooms like this. For people who don't talk much, there's this space.
Tasha, Nosika, as if making a point, doesn't reply to that.
However, Tasha will flick through, look at Elijah's list. Like, right, okay. Should be able to get some of this. Some of this might be difficult to source, and some of this is just going to be insanely expensive. Unless build it ourselves, and yeah.
Is Tasha's door open?
Yeah.
There's a head that pops in. Did I hear shopping?
Yes. Do you want, and you can go shopping for, and she'll flick through. 4 titration tubes.
What's a titration tube?
I think that's the answer. Elijah.
And
And
Elijah
James will walk in.
takes.
He is holding a glass. He will walk in, smiling. I mean,
Tasha's
I'll pay for it if I know what it is.
also holding a glass of your whiskey.
Elijah takes a deep breath. Technically, it can be resumed as a burette, as a laboratory equipment in order to make analytical chemistry experiment with another variable of dissolvable chemical solutions and measuring amounts. And he goes on to give a full definition of what it is.
There you go. Match made in heaven. Someone who needs a thing, someone who's willing to buy a thing, problem solved. Although if I were you, if I'm ordering a large amount of strange chemistry equipment to a remote location, I'd maybe talk to William about hiding your purchases.
He nods.
I mean, we could always just split up the order, send it to different places, go pick it up.
Yeah. The more proxies you go things through, the better. Like I say, talk to William. He should be able to hide what you need to get.
And he nods. He's thinking as he looks for his list. As in, okay, what do I need first?
Tasha, I had a question.
Hooray! Yes.
Don't sound so excited. The other room that has all the vials, is that somebody else's workspace?
No, don't think Boris uses it. You'd have to speak to him.
Okay.
Yeah, don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
You have something in mind for it?
It's either that one, because I'm very curious about those vials and potions and whatever else is in there. It's either that one or it's the one at the very, very, very top before you get to the roof.
There were two there that are just like completely empty.
Did either of them have windows?
Yeah. They both will have done.
Oh, see, are we talking about the greenhouse?
No.
Okay.
No. But it's either that one or one of the two before you get to the roof. I'm looking at that one because I'm very curious about what's there.
I really wouldn't recommend trying them all.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not going to try them. Just curious about it.
Okay. I'd personally be grateful if someone got rid of them all, but I'm concerned some of them are explosive. Like I say, if anyone knows, it's Boris or Lee. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyone else got any questions?
No, ma'am.
Got any
Can we
close?
come back to the basement?
Pardon?
Can we come back to this basement?
If you don't make too much noise.
He nods silently.
Have any of you come any closer to figuring out the portal?
What
Portal?
What portal?
Boris
What?
didn't show you the portal. You were just looking around the whole Chantry and you missed. Did you go into every room apart from the portal room?
I guess I did.
Because yes, James did. Yeah, it's next door.
Isn't that the library?
The other door.
Oh. I just thought that was more library.
No?
What sort of portal is it?
I don't know.
Let's go check it out.
Have fun. And is everyone heading to the next room?
Yes.
I mean, allow me.
To the other big set of double doors. Is Nausica interested in the portal?
She looks reluctant. She kind of wants to stay here, but yeah, she will. You know what? Portal? Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right, okay. One moment. Let me get this description. So, yeah, you'll go through the double doors into a room that is absolutely covered in, well, absolutely covered in a couple of strange forms of writing and strange forms of script blending together. Some of it is quite harsh, angular, almost slashes on the wall as it blends together into some more flowing symbols that seem to involve quite a lot of interlocking circles. And on one wall is embedded a large round gate. And I will find a picture of it for you. Looks something like this.
Well, there's writing and
Yep.
symbols and
Covering the walls.
There's a rather silent person normally who is now standing in front and just staring up at that wall with like there's a twinkle in her eyes, and then she just looks half possessed as she stares at this and lets her hands glide over the symbols and the letters.
It's in sort of flowing patterns. It's not straight lines. At some point, binding itself into spirals. As make me an intelligence academics check.
Okay. Can I add my dice for natural linguist?
No, because this isn't translating
Fair enough.
per se. And actually, natural linguist is the one that gives you 2 languages for.
Nah, yeah, but it also gives like there's also stuff there that gives bonus dice and shit. Let me actually look it up.
But anyway,
you can also get 3 bonus dice on making rolls based upon clear communication. Nah, it doesn't apply for this.
Mhm.
But I do also have 3 dots in linguistics instead of academics. Also have
Okay.
academics, by the way, but
you I'll let you use linguistics.
okay. Actually need to set up now. God damn it.
Everyone else can make an intelligence academics roll, by the way, if they so want. But I'm assuming that Ava is far and away the most excited by this. I imagine there's like stages ranging from like fascination from Ava to like just vague bemusement on the part of James.
I have
No, there isn't vague bemusement. There's a curiosity. I mean, he has that
willpower
book.
on this.
Pardon, sorry, Saskia?
Can I spend a willpower on this?
No.
I figured.
I think I have 4 successes.
Will encyclopedic knowledge come into play?
It will, yes.
Awesome.
What's the diff for linguistics?
Your difficulty, I'll say your difficulty is 4. Everyone else's is your difficulty be 5. Everyone else's is 7. These are quite obscure languages.
I have 4
have
successes. Difficulty
5
7.
successes.
Okay.
Hold on.
So
Let me roll. Are we in Mage? We're in Mage dice roller, right?
Mage dice roller, yes.
Yep.
Hold on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
6. Okay. So that what you will learn is damn.
Difficulty 7.
Yeah, difficulty 7. No, you have 4 successes.
Oh, difficulty 7.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was difficulty 6.
No, I said difficulty 7. So
Okay, so 4 successes. Yeah.
first of all, Elijah, pretty pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, what Nausk will be able to note is these are clearly 2 different languages, 2 different clear alphabets that are blended together to create some kind of coherent pattern. What the other 2 will be able to know is they will recognize the languages themselves. One is Tibetan, and the other is early medieval Gallic-Lytic. Now,
Say it at the
can
same
actually
time,
learn
Saskia?
one of those. Can actually figure out probably the Tibetan one.
Sure.
Nice. Actually, I need to look up one of my things that I have. I need to look at cryptography and what it did.
Definitely need to roll curiosity.
I mean, I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna fail.
James is going to take out a notebook. And you said Tibetan and
Galaglytic.
Galaglytic?
Yep. It's a medieval
the player
Slavic
is
language.
lost.
It's a an early medieval Slavic language. It's like the first Slavic alphabet.
Huh. Interesting.
From Russia.
Interesting. From Russia. Huh. I'm guessing knowing Russian is completely nothing like.
No, because it looks nothing like Cyrillic.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, you can Google it. It looks nothing like Cyrillic.
No, I know. I actually have it up right now.
Yeah.
So he begins writing. Everybody can see him basically begin to write in a blank notebook. He's going to copy down or attempt to copy down as many of the different symbols as he can. The different alphabet as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he sees a new one, he's going to write it down.
Duncan,
Yep.
can I make an intelligence cryptography roll to unravel codes?
I mean, you can, but this isn't a code. It's literally just languages you don't understand.
I mean, language is sort of a code. But
yeah, there's no meaning you can place to the symbol.
yeah, that's
you know what the symbols are, but yeah.
Does Tibetan
there
and
was a
Mandarin come from the same root language?
That's apparently, as I did read up on this, that's somewhat of a point of academic debate.
So again,
Probably, but they're completely different scripts.
so again,
They're
Mage,
completely different scripts.
Yes, this is the point. This is alphabetic. It's not pictographic.
so again, Mage noob.
Yep.
I have data, and level 1 data is seeing connections between things.
Do you have mind?
I do not have mind.
You have.
Roll.
Excuse me? You have.
Roll me your arete.
You have. Technocracy spheres? What?
It's one of the listed prime
Yep.
spheres for virtual adepts. In
Yep.
M20, it's one of the options.
Yep.
and in
It
the meantime,
absolutely is.
Ava is also gonna like start copying down the two alphabets and.
But absolutely, please roll your arete.
So just 2 dice, right? I don't have any tools or anything. You're gonna have to walk me through this. I've never done this before.
Right. Okay. So at this point, I'll just let you roll flat arete.
Okay.
In fact, actually, no. We're going to have to do this properly.
Yes, please.
You're going to need to effectively process that information somehow. You have to actually use a tool and explain how you're doing it. It won't just come to you in a flash of inspiration.
No, absolutely.
It has to be kind of deliberate.
Then I will do it after the scene.
If you're going to do it as the post, you'd have to do it in the scene. If you want to try and crunch the data, then feel free to do it in the scene.
I mean, she can try. She will ask one of the other players for a pen and pencil.
There's a complete change in demeanor in James, and if she asks for a pencil, his glass is down on the floor. He's writing notes, and he'll actually flick his ear, taking another pencil off in 2 fingers, still studying the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Nausicaa will join in the little writing party, and yeah, we'll
Now
basically.
roll your arate, please.
Okay. She will basically be using mathematical formulas to, although she doesn't understand the languages, to create links and use data. One. I wrote my arate. I have a 9 and a 7.
Okay. This is clearly you managed to work out. You can't work out what the words are saying. You can work out that they are forming a single coherent, or a message that you can assume would be coherent. You can understand that they are connected to the proper activation of the portal.
Sure, and that will take a while, so other people can do things they want to do if they want.
Actually, here's the thing. It won't take that long at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
It will take about maybe 5 minutes tops.
Sure.
Unless you actively want it to take longer.
No, I don't. No.
Yeah.
Just other people want to do stuff as well before I jump ahead. So, yeah. If no one else wants to do anything, Nausicaa will basically be putting down. She'll be literally developing or like writing. She'll be noting things down, noting frequencies of certain symbols, all that sort of thing, different placements, and will be essentially on the fly create a small and, to her, relatively simple mathematical formula that will kind of bring some enlightenment to this otherwise complex thing, and then she will apply the formula to it, and she will gain the information Duncan said, and she will basically say, I think it's... And she does have a kind of quizzical look as, yeah, all this did come in a rather easy manner. Kind of inspiration, almost. And, yeah, she'll say, it's something to do with opening the door. The 2 languages are linked together somehow.
And
maybe if you could just read it out.
James is gonna point with his pen to the gate, the circular gate.
Yes, that is the door.
Yeah, Nausicaa just nods.
So it could be an incantation, a set of ritual steps. I have no idea. I honestly, I can't even fathom the way these 2 languages are linked.
It's pretty obvious, really.
It's just curious.
And she will go into some length explaining her formula that shows the clear connections in rhythm, frequency, and yeah, all that stuff that Robbie doesn't understand.
Okay.
And
right.
Most people don't either, I'm sure.
Anyone have science?
Oh, I do, but
Oh, yeah.
probably not the field that I need.
Actually,
If anyone has,
I believe-
anyone can actually roll me. No, intelligence academics.
Okay.
The difficulty will be 8.
What would it be if it was science?
If it was science, I will give it to you at 6.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. You do not need to roll. In fact, no, you can roll, Robbie.
Would Bright be of any help?
No, I don't think so. Actually, yeah, I'll give it to you.
Academics.
What did you say for science, Div?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That formula makes absolutely zero sense. It's basically impossible.
Encyclopedic knowledge or no?
Nope.
Okay. That's fine.
I got
10, 8, 10, 9, 4, 4, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
James clearly paid attention in maths class.
I only got 3 successes. I feel like the biggest loser of the fucking venue at this point.
That formula doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah,
And
the other two can tell you that's nonsense. That mathematical formula that she has jotted down on a piece of paper in the space of about 5 minutes. No.
I mean,
So
Elijah looks. It
and James looks at Elijah.
it doesn't make sense, but the result is correct.
Your work, huh? Oh, it makes perfect sense to you, and it may make perfect sense to you, but we still can't read the words that are on the wall. I think that might
Have a
actually
student
help.
here. Do you not specialize in language, Ava?
Well, she's kind of like, she got jolted by her name and is now trying to think from, what was the question?
Do you specialize in language?
I mean, the player knows.
Okay, sorry.
I am an English major, not languages, but this is kind of interesting. It's kind of cool, really. Yeah.
Even if we decided to pronounce it phonetically, perhaps it would activate it?
Duncan.
Is understanding the phonetics. Tell me at what point do these symbols make a sh sound or a sound?
Do we not all carry devices in our pockets that give us access to humanity's collected knowledge? I'm sure we can find out how to pronounce Tibetan symbols. And this other one? She shrugs. With enough research,
You realize
I'm sure
how
we can
long
find
it's
it.
going to take. You realize how long
Because we're
this is
so
gonna take.
preoccupied with other activities, yeah? Day jobs, social lives. No.
You understand Halloween is coming up, right?
I failed to see the connection.
I have been away. I have been captured. I have been tortured for nearly... I honestly don't know how long. And you want me to miss the highest social event until New Year's?
Not at all. I had made no request to you. Anyone who wishes to help open this can do it. If you don't wish to, then go away. I'm sure Halloween will be very
you're gonna
important.
sit here and do this.
Yes.
No. We can always come back to this. Facility for I don't know how long. And you think, no. I think you should all come with me. I can probably get you invited to one of the bigger parties around the city.
Maybe some people notion of fun is different.
As you said, we have all endured months of torture. I would not wish to inflict more upon myself.
Yeah.
How is that torture?
Where's a sneaker coming from, Elijah? Involuntarily.
Fine. I will help.
Perhaps.
Sorry, Saskia. The question
Yes?
you sent me, the answer to that one is yes.
Oh, okay.
You following the letters.
Yes. Yeah. While everybody else is like discussing about torture parties and time and stuff like that, Ava is still kind of busy with the letters, writing them down on the paper, almost like
This is
drawing them out.
when you're drawing them out and you're looking at them, you're drawing them out and you're looking at the ones on the walls. It will. You want to say you can start to figure out almost that you can't predict the exact linguistics. If you could, you'd say the cadence of the sort of rhythm and cadence of a language you didn't understand the emphases, but it's not quite like that. But you can see a flow to the letters, and that's very important for how they're written and why they're written in that strange way. And the two different kinds joining together, and they all come and meet at the portal like some screaming capitalized size 84 font exclamation mark.
Yeah. Ava's eyes go wide and she will actually kind of drop the pencil, mostly in excitement actually. It's kind of ignoring everybody else. Oh. Maybe they need to be spoken at the same time? Or combined together?
God damn it, Robbie.
Maybe combined to one language. It's interesting. Okay, she starts like making more notes, but then more on like what she just saw with the flow and how this leads up to the gate.
Say, and the more you look, the more you start to understand. In fact, roll me perception awareness.
All right. I swear I'm gonna use Mage Dice Roller every time from now on. I've done nothing but botches in Werewolf, so 3 successes.
The hairs prick up on the back of your neck as you do this. It's something like excitement, but it's you are touching something greater. This isn't sound. This is going beyond into the shadows of behind meaning. This is the combination of lack of sound of
I love you.
yeah. This is the She is someone who believes that there is a purity to writing, a purity to language that cannot be expressed in verbal nor written formats. And that is what you are looking at right now.
Her mouth hangs like wide open at this point. She must look like some kind of an idiot. Or like getting a seizure or something, I don't know. But yeah. She's fuck. Oh. Yes.
What is it?
It's more than just a language.
What do you mean more than just a language?
It's bigger than just writing it down or speaking it. It's bigger than that. You have to experience it, or I don't know. How do you say that?
Duncan,
Yep.
buddy,
Yep.
is somebody talking about something that something fundamental about the universe? Something
I
alive?
mean, not alive. She's effectively describing quintessence. I mean, to some extent, it is talking about the fundamentals of the universe, but not in a way that aligns with any of your tools or anything like that.
Damn it! Not
There's no-
even really.
There's no conscious effort, and also there's no conscious effort on James's part to use a tool to interact with the thing, to interact with what's going on. So it's kind of twofold here. She's just kind of saying words at you, whereas ultimately, Robbie used mathematical formulae, Saskia used language and writing.
Well, I mean, language is part of James's tools as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saskia has font as one.
Font.
To put it in context of how people are interacting with this quite deliberately.
Then, when she does say this, James will turn to Asuka and say, maybe your idea of phonetics may work. And he's going to start looking up the different, the individual symbols.
Okay. Now, this is where you will get to the ST shortfall, because Duncan has not worked out exactly what this thing says. Specifically, you'll start to piece together syllables. You'll start to see what the syllables mean, the letters, the individual phonemes. But ultimately, the overall message is not something that... but even still, you'll be able to get a collect... Ultimately, at this point, you have a collection of phonemes.
The
You start to piece them together.
important part is the phonetics, at least for James.
Mm-hmm.
And once in his notebook, he's going to write down the phonetics of the different symbols. And he's going to start basically in the center, and he's going to start reading them.
So he's going to start trying to piece together some phonemes that he doesn't entirely understand. It's unfamiliar
That
with.
he doesn't entirely understand.
Okay.
That he's not familiar with. But he's going to try and go deeper than that.
Okay. What do you mean by deeper? Just to clarify.
Do you mean basics deeper, or how he's seeing it?
Yeah, how he's seeing it.
Okay. He wants to see the intent of it. He wants to see, is this writing intended to be here, or is this just random? Is this just random ramblings on a wall?
Okay. What's your mind?
What the
What's your mind? What's your mind?
1.
1?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Arate.
What? Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Five and a 4.
Okay. So, James will sit there haltingly, saying a lot of nonsense, really.
Yay, nonsense.
Just kind of saying sounds. You don't know what you're saying well, you know the sounds you're making, you don't know what it means. You do start to get a vague understanding of it, though. As you start speaking these words, clearly words of some of them, you start to understand are words of power. There is in part it is part incantation, part instructions, part poem.
Huh. And he's going to stop for a second. It's a ritual. Am I allowed to say that word?
Oh, you're asking out of character?
No, in character.
Okay.
It's a
You
ritual.
using that word would not. I think you using that word would not be the most surprising thing we've witnessed today.
Oh. And he'll sort of say it's so it's definitely part of an incantation. At least I have no idea why, but is what the words are what the sounds are telling me.
Maybe it wasn't the sounds, you start to realize. Was there an echo? Not sure.
Huh. Hold on.
A whisper of something.
Everybody stay still for a second. And he's going to read them out again.
Roll your Arate. Oh dear! I'm going out to Mage.
Lol.
Yes. Yes.
Who gets first taste of paradox?
You do! As starts as an itching in your arm and becomes a stabbing pain behind your left eye, as the words catch in your throat. on a particularly difficult syllable, and you devolve into a coughing fit. However, that stabbing pain remains.
Okay. Does it do anything?
No, because it's one paradox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After a couple of minutes, it will start to subside and becomes like this inside of your head itches. You want to scratch your skull.
Oh.
Upon him having this coughing fit, Nausicaa steps back. Perhaps we should wait for the others.
I will let everyone roll me perception awareness. I'll say everyone can roll perception awareness to this. Purely because it's the first one and it's fun.
3 successes.
4
Wow.
successes. Like, Elijah has been saying nothing with his plan, and he's just observing everybody.
0
You're all
successes.
crazy.
Okay, so Nausicaa. Clearly, he just pronounced something differently. Obviously, like probably the drink. Keeps talking about going out on Halloween. He's got a glass of whiskey with him. Must be it, obviously. The Ava. There was something that the words didn't want to be spoken. Something the language didn't. The world was opposed to that language being set free. And Damien, clearly this biological vessel, it's speaking or trying to get in touch with the greater universe. Clearly the universe reacted like an animal and bit back.
And he's going to put Marcus the Fecus down, and he's gonna approach James as he looks at him. So, describe. What are you feeling?
He's holding his eye at this point, and it's just like, I'm gonna poke you from behind the head. Ball. You tell me how that feels.
Irrelevant. I need a better description.
You were doing it wrong.
Not necessarily
Oh,
wrong.
tell. I could not tell. Couldn't tell at all.
I mean, do you even know what the words mean?
No idea.
Well, that's why it went wrong.
I think
Oh,
more of
that's
reality.
a simple
Side
explanation.
effect.
I mean, if this is really
Really?
something that you call a ritual, then don't you need to like understand what it does and what it is and what it says? It's not just Wingardium Leviosa.
I'm very sorry. And
Do you require painkillers?
and he will reach down and he will take the glass up and he will shake it a little. Not enough to spill the contents. I'll be okay.
So, how did you find out the phonetics, though?
It's a process that I've been doing.
The phonetics. The phonetics was on the internet.
Yeah.
The meaning was the other thing. Sorry.
Yeah. The phonetics versus the symbols are easy to find. As for their intent, I don't think I found that.
I think that might be the
After all, I mean, in Chinese you can write brave warrior son, and the way you write it could actually turn out to be chicken noodle soup. So,
in some languages, they have 23 different versions of snow.
I've heard that.
So I think I think we need to find a way to understand what these words mean and then work them out, but not just, work them out as in it means this, but to fully grasp its intention. Does that sound weird?
No, it doesn't. And if it stops me from getting stabbed in the brain, that's best. That hurt.
Maybe you would be better at this if you weren't drinking.
Maybe. The only reason I'm conscious, I couldn't feel the whole brunt.
So I guess it must have something to do with the door opening, the portal opening, right? That is pretty obvious. But just to have the greater picture of what this does in our minds is just not enough.
I believe that we should, although we can look at it more, I do not believe we should attempt to open it. We're ultimately guests here, and we do not know where this door leads or what is behind it. It may be closed for a good reason.
Neither do they. Tasha just said that they couldn't open it, right?
Yeah, but if you think Tasha and Boris are these paragons of arcane intuition, they just got here 2 weeks ago, according to my discussion with Tasha yesterday.
They can heal arms and have hoverboards. I believe your qualification to comment on their magical ability is irrelevant.
But they also said that we had to experiment for ourselves and try out for ourselves what works for us. Maybe they have not been able to figure it out yet because this doesn't work for them. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work for us.
Red has a point.
I would advise caution. Clearly, there's more here at stake. It seems that a force, whatever you may qualify it, answered to your call, as you have apparently irritated it, and it responded by attacking you. So I would advise prudence regarding personal experiments.
I mean, wasn't the entire idea that we walk into this kind of things? And I don't know about you guys, but what I've heard so far, and I don't mean to be disrespectful in any kind of form, but all I hear is that there is no answer. You have to find out for yourself. You just have to try. There is no textbook for this. There's no textbook for this, as she points towards the portal. So if we need to try out...
I will protest to that idea. Trying out is not an excuse to use acid without protection gear.
Exactly.
I didn't say that.
If we can take proper precautions at very least, set up a simulation test.
I mean, yeah, that sounds smart, but I didn't mean to just jump into it, but to investigate more and to learn more from it, yes.
Theorizing and investigating are part of the same process, yes. However, the current result as to James here, he hasn't stopped looking as he's taking notes. He's completely observing James' reaction. clearly seems to indicate that there may be consequences to being unprepared.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should ask Tash and Boris then how to prepare for things happening that we don't understand.
Indeed.
Good idea.
Theory has been established. Now we need to
James pulls a small electrical device out of his pocket, and the room will eventually begin to smell like tobacco and coffee.
I think we have the basis of work. Now we need to run a hypothesis upon it. And
Well, it's fairly obvious that these abilities aren't free. They come with a price.
Wasn't that clear before?
Yeah, but I'd like to hope that not everybody sort of comes into these powers by being kidnapped and tortured. It's a hope, a dream, if you will.
Dream. Maybe that's where the portal ends. Dreams.
Look, I'm not fucking touching this for another day or so. Folks, you back off.
I can set up basic analysis over it. But I'm not sure that I understand linguistics as well as the rest of you. But perhaps if I provide you raw data on what we're looking at, you could use it.
Raw data helps.
Sure.
And maybe if I could have something to monitor your progress, I may be perhaps able to ensure a procedure as to, well, not make this happen. As he looks at James, who's just apparently is just like, I'm gonna lose all my things by drinking coffee and smoking.
So far, the one
It's
discernible...
No, it's actually, he's vaping, and it smells like coffee and tobacco mixed
Okay.
together.
So far, the one discernible effect we've seen this have was inflicting pain upon you, James. We should study that. That will probably give us much more data than simply observation.
And Elijah stipple his finger. Would you allow me
Sure,
to
Eva.
run a few tests?
Tests?
As a
What kind of
he
tests?
nods. Yes.
No, that isn't an answer. What kind?
Taking heartbeats, taking perhaps a DNA sample, or at least
You want to give me a physical?
monitor your reactions when you are practicing. If I may be able
Sure.
to find where or how those backlash happens, we may be able to gather enough data for Nausicaa to enlist a practical theory in order to ensure that they don't happen as often.
Sure. And I'm sure that Ava and I can provide you with notes on the languages here. He looks over at Nausicaa.
That would be useful. You'll find me in my room. And Nausicaa's actually going to turn and just leave. Not like in a huff, just going.
Well,
She doesn't say goodbye to
you want
me.
to perform
She walks out of the
tests?
room.
You want to perform tests while I'm practicing?
And he nods. I don't have currently proper materials. However, as he gets his sleeves back up, I may use this instant to gather perhaps if you as few information as I can onto your current state. And then when we try again, I may be able to monitor better and have at least a basis of analysis.
Sure.
And yeah, Elijah is going to start to take polls, take notes, and ask basically a lot of questions. About James in terms of biology terms. What is your height? How much do you weigh? Are there any pathological remnants inside your family tree? Any known genetic disease?
That might
The list goes on.
might be a good place to end the scene,
Yeah.
unless someone wants to do something.
Good for me.
Okay.
Nope.
Then thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, Steve, for staying. And thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene for a Living World of Darkness Mage venue. And we'll see you again with a lot of magical effects and headaches.